Okay, good evening, everyone. Before I call the meeting to order, may I please call forward Phoenix Sanders and Xavier Rivas Zamora, who are joining us tonight as our co-student mayors of the day. Please sit beside me. Get comfortable there. Student Mayor for the Day is a new partnership program between the city and the Paramount Unified School District. Every month, different schools in our district select a deserving 4th or 5th grader to join us as Student Mayor of the Day. They will help us call our meeting to order and lead with the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, let us call the meeting to order. New mayors, will you grab your gavels? I will have mine. And at one time, when I announce the calling the meeting to order, we will stomp our gavels, okay? Now, let's call the meeting to order on February 25th, 2025. Our student mayors will now help lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Student Mayor Sanders, you may say, everyone, please stand. Okay, and then Student Mayor Zamora will say,
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, Student Mayor Sanders, will you please say we will now?
You will now take roll.
Okay, you will say Miss City Clerk. Maybe. Okay. Still working.
Test. It's not it's loud.
Okay.
We're speaking to this mic, Peggy?
Yes. Okay, you can
Vice
speak
Mayor.
into that mic, and please say Miss City Clerk.
Miss City Clerk,
May we please have roll call?
may we please have a roll call?
Councilmember Aguayo.
Here.
Councilmember Olmos. Here. Councilmember Quer Stallings.
Present.
Vice Mayor Lemons.
Here.
Student Mayor Phoenix Sanders.
Here.
Student Mayor Xavier Zamora.
Here.
Mayor Delgadillo.
Present.
All present.
Thank you. Would my fellow colleagues please join me at the podium as we recognize our student mayors of the day. So we're going to go down to the podium. All go. I printed my agenda and I found one slide and I left it on my desk. Yeah. Mayor Sanders is a 5th grade student from Collins Elementary School who currently serves as their student council president. She was selected for demonstrating exceptional leadership, dedication, and model behavior to her classmates. Her hard work across all academic areas, along with her commitment to excellence, makes her a great representative of Collins Elementary. Mayor Zamora is a 5th grade student from Lincoln Elementary School. He was selected for his good attendance and hard-working attitude. His determination to achieve great things, coupled with his willingness to help others, makes him a great role model to all Lincoln Lions. Thank you both for representing our city and the Paramount Unified School District so well. We are now proud to present you with your gavels and certificate to commemorate your hard work. Xavier? Okay, Phoenix, my love. And Phoenix, you have your certificate for Student Mayor of the Day. Xavier, here's your certificate for our Student Mayor of the Day. You're very welcome. Would either of you wish to say a few words? No? Well, it's okay. That's all right. Okay, well, thank you very much. And parents, thank you very much. And principals and everyone that's here, let's give them a round of applause. Yes, we will take a photo now.
Mayor, if I can have you.
Okay.
You got it? There you go. Okay, let me have everyone scoot in.
All right, awesome. We're gonna take a few pictures, okay? Big smiles. 1, 2, 3. Great. Drop and take a few more, okay? Awesome. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Thank you so much. Good job.
Thank you, everyone. Congratulations to you.
If we can have the family come and take a photo as well as you sure? You got it? It's okay, I can hold it for you, it's okay. Of course, yes.
Yes,
Great.
yes.
If we can have everyone. Oh. Would you guys like to use the photo? If that's the case, then let's go to the back so that way we can get everyone.
Okay.
Yes. You okay, Phoenix? If I could have council right all the way in the back, please. And then Xavier, let me have you come here. Perfect. Then Mom, can I have you hold this? Principal? And then, Brendan, would you like to say anything closer? Sorry. No, you're fine. Thank you.
Yes.
This is Mom.
All right. Hey, everyone, big smiles.
Let's look here first.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Take one more. Looks great. Big smiles. All eyes up here. 1, 2, 3. Awesome job.
We're gonna do this one really quick. Got it? Okay, one more. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Got
Okay,
it.
really one more. Okay, ready? 1, 2, and 3. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. This concludes our presentations for this evening. Council, I'm going to let you make a decision. Either we can go for a break right now, or would you like to continue with our council meeting? Okay, that's what I figured. Thank you so much, council. All right, well, let's head back to the dais. Thank you. Okay, now we are going to move on to, oh, excuse me. Okay, we are going to move on to public comment updates. Mr. Moreno, are there any public comment updates from the last city council meeting?
No, Madam Mayor, we have none.
Okay, public comments. Now is the time that members of the public may comment on items that are not on tonight's agenda. Mr. Moreno, are there any speaker cards at this time?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we have two. Our first speaker is we have two in person and then one emailed as well.
Okay.
Our first speaker is Ms. Andrea Crow from the Paramount Library.
Good afternoon, Mayor Delgadillo, Vice Mayor Lemons, council members, and the residents of the city of Paramount. This week, Paramount Library is hosting two programs, one for adults and one for teens. Tomorrow, February 26th at 2 p.m., adults will learn about the history and impact of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters while creating a commemorative coaster. This Saturday, March 1st at 3 p.m., we're hosting Anime Your Way for teens. Teens ages 13 to 18 will learn how to design and draw their own cartoon characters from former Simpson and King of the Hill illustrator Carlos Nieto III. For more information about these and other great events, please check out our website at visit.lacountylibrary.org/events. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okie doke. Our next in-person speaker, Madam Mayor, is Mr. Robert Cruz, and he'd like to discuss the summer concerts and Friday night market concert series. Mr. Cruz.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. I want to express my appreciation for the effort that goes into organizing events like the summer concerts and Friday night markets. These gatherings bring our community together, providing a space for families, friends to enjoy music, culture, and local vendors. However, I would like to make a request that I believe would enhance these events and make them even more inclusive for all members of our community. Currently, the majority of the music featured at these events is Hispanic music. While I completely respect and appreciate the genre, I believe incorporating a wide variety of music such as rock, R&B, and soul would create a more welcoming atmosphere for everyone. A rotating selection of music would encourage more people to attend. Additionally, I would like to bring up the location of these events. Progress Park is a nice venue, but it's small. It has little parking for the size of these gatherings. Paramount Park is a much larger space and would provide more room for families to enjoy the events comfortably. If heat is a concern during the summertime, perhaps we could explore shifting some of these events to a pre-summer or even a fall when the weather is cooler. I hope you'll consider these requests as you plan for the future events. For more inclusive music lineup and a more spacious venue at a cooler time of the year would enhance these gatherings and allow even more members of our community to participate. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate all you do to make our community a wonderful place to live. I look forward to seeing these events continue, grow, and evolve in a way that welcomes everyone. Thank you. Robert Cruz. Any questions?
I don't think Madam Mayor.
Yes, you may.
I don't have any questions. I would tell you that we actually had a discussion earlier this year about the diversification of the music. And so we worked hard to incorporate some different genres, and we're going to build on that. So you're right on target with what we think should happen too. And as far as the venue, I believe we started off at Paramount Park and we moved it to Progress Park because it was so spread out at Paramount Park, people didn't feel like they were part of it. It was too big. So that might be something that we could look at if we're going to move it, how we can create that little closeness that they want in a concert. And I think your suggestion to have it in the cooler months is a really good one. So thank you so much for all your feedback.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz.
Okay, Madam Mayor, now we have one emailed public comment, and Ms. Luce will read it. Ms. Luce?
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. Good evening, Paramount City Council. I am here once again to plead with you to please compel city management and staff to provide public records in a more timely manner. The city clerk is still, for some reason, refusing to turn over public records for years at a time with no reasonable explanation. The city of Paramount must do a better job at being efficient and transparent with the people's business. City staff is also still allowing unlicensed illegal businesses to use the city for criminal activity, handling hazardous waste near homes, schools, and hospitals, including on public property, and all apparently at management's request. Please ask City Manager John Moreno to get his subordinates in line, or at least allow them to do their jobs to protect my neighbors, and also that he represents the community in a more equitable manner. If he cannot do this, or he cannot distance himself from conflicts of interest or bad business taking place in the community, when it is at the detriment of residents, then you must ask that he step aside so a new city manager who may straighten out the mess that is Paramount City Hall under his current leadership. Residents and the community deserve better than this from him and staff. We are paying for them to look out for us and to enforce as appropriately in the interest of public health, safety, and peace, and it is apparent that they are not at his request. Thank you, Mike Radis.
Hey, thank you, Ms. Luce.
Madam Mayor, as a follow-up to that, just so you know, we are definitely working on Mr. Radis's public records request. The request that he has resulted in over 20,000 responsive records, which is extremely time-consuming for staff, as you can imagine. Our Ms. Luce has been discussing this with our new city attorney about the best way to approach this and to develop a production schedule, and the records will be produced in accordance with that schedule. So that information was communicated to Mr. Radis last week. So I just want to give you an update.
Okay. Thank you,
I'm
Mr. City
sorry,
Manager. Oh,
just
go ahead.
clarification, 20,000 documents?
Is that correct? 20,000 documents?
20,000 email records that have to be reviewed.
Oh, 20,000 emails that have to be reviewed.
Yes.
Oh, I know that there's that standard time that you have to respond. Does it get expanded for something of that scope?
So, yes, we are required to provide a schedule of when the records will be released. To this point, we hadn't been able to do that, but I'm working with Mr. Grelli's office to make sure that we get that done.
Just to build on that, the Public Records Act requires the city to respond, acknowledging whether or not there are responsive records to a request within 10 days, and that can be extended to 14 days for a total of 24. But it allows the city to acknowledge that we do have records and to provide a reasonable production schedule based on the amount of time it will take to accumulate and then review all of those records before they go out. So we're in the process right now of developing that production schedule so that the records can go out as soon as possible, and we'll make sure that that production schedule allows for the records to be given out in portions so that Mr. Radis gets the records, some records as quickly as possible.
Wow, I can't even imagine the amount of staff hours that are going to be spent on that.
We have a wonderful paralegal.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, next we'll move on to the consent calendar. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Ms. City Clerk, may I have roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo.
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos.
Yes.
Councilmember Quer-Stallings.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lemons.
Yes.
Mayor Delgadillo.
Yes. Now we move into new business. Item 9. Our first item of new business is a presentation on the Gateway Cities Regional Fiber Network Project. Mr. City Manager, may we have the report, please?
Yeah, absolutely, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
Our first item will give you an update on a very important regional project that's soon to be moving at the pace of high-speed internet. Thanks to a couple of very large state grants that the Gateway Cities Council of Government received, mainline fiber-based data lines are going to be installed in Paramount and throughout the Gateway region, and they'll provide us with high-speed internet access, which is long overdue, as you know, for our area. I've provided updates to you on this project in the recent past, and council members Aguayo and Cuellar-Stallings are well aware of this with their past involvement and advocacy for this project. So tonight we have a guest presenter this afternoon from the Gateway Cities Council of Governments. It's Executive Director, Mr. Hector De La Torre. Hector, how you doing?
Thank you. I walked all the way across the parking lot. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and speak to you about this project. I think more people need to know what's coming. And in a bit, you'll understand why it's important that I'm here, in particular in the city of Paramount. So what is it? It's a $103 million regional fiber optic network. It's going to connect 25 city halls from 2 directions for redundancy. It's going to offer 10 gigabytes per second upload and download speeds. This is much faster than anything you could possibly get from what's available out there today. It's a real opportunity for the city to be able to transact business and get records, et cetera, electronic records. Maybe it'll help with that FOI search. And then we'll see what happens after that. But there is no cost, zero, to the city of Paramount or to any of the 25 cities. The $103 million will cover the entire cost. And I want to be clear, over 100 million of that, well over a 100 million, is going to the project itself. So that's what's going to pay for the fiber optic cable, for the construction, et cetera. So this is the overall map. The pinkish lines are the lines where the route is going to go. Connecting, you see all the city halls with the name of the city and the dot. That's the city hall. It has 2 parts. One is a $57 million grant from the California Department of Technology. And the other part is $46 million from the California Public Utilities Commission. That's the $103 million combined. Very important, you can see the dates there. This all has to be done by December of 2026, so less than 2 years from today. It has to be finished. There's no extension. The kids are gone now, so I would say, there's no extension on your homework. This has to be finished. And it says 24 months on the PUC. It's actually a little less than that. That has to be done by November of 26, so 1 month apart. So we're treating it just as one big project. We're not splitting them in any way. 120 total route miles to connect the 25 cities. And you can see the breakdown there, which I think the math is a little off, but you get the point. Underground is obviously digging along your major arterials to connect to City Hall. And then 30 miles is aerial. That's on the poles with the cables and the other stuff that's up there. So we need all the cities to collaborate with us. The 2 gateway cities that are not part of this are Avalon, because there's no road to connect us to them. They're applying through a separate grant. And Huntington Park, which got their own grant through the same process we did. We need easements, we need traffic plans, we need permitting to make this happen. The field work includes infrastructure confirmation. That is happening right now. They are all over the gateway cities with the teams looking to see where the fiber optic cable is, if it's underground, or obviously confirming up on the wires if something is already up there and at what capacity. We will have traffic management as part of this for the communities when they're digging and when they're up on the poles. So we take care of that part, but we will be working with your team to make sure that that works. So we have monthly meetings. We keep pestering staff to do this. It's really important that this project is not a Gateway Cities project. We're just the ones making it happen. It's a city project for all 25 cities. The beneficiaries are you. And so it's very important that we work together under this very tight time frame to make it work. We're going to have this is important for all of you because we're inviting all council members, not just our president. In March or late March, early April, we're putting together right now a workshop that will explore the possibilities for this. So as I've said numerous times, and John has heard me and Vilma's heard me, we are giving you, through this grant, a Ferrari. And we're dropping it off in your driveway. And you decide what to do with it. So, you might leave it in the driveway. You might want to take it out for a spin. You might want to, connect other areas within your city, whether that's city facilities or schools or industrial clusters or your commercial zones. Or the ultimate would be to wire the whole city. So meaning residents as well. Those are all decisions that you're going to have to make once this is finished. And so in late March, early April, we're going to have this workshop where we will go over all those options for you. You are all invited, all council members. John will be invited. And you can start thinking about it because you got 2 years until it's going to be finished, the whole thing. So you can start working on grant proposals and those kinds of things, which we will also help to identify. The construction management company and internet service provider partner will be selected by the COG, and we'll work with you on that as well. This is just a wire in the ground or up on a pole. You need the equipment on either end to send and receive data. And so that's another part of this that we will work with you on. We are going to ask for a standardized right-of-way agreement for all 25 cities so that we're not replicating every city when we're building this out. That's coming as well in the next month or two that I'm sure your city attorney will love looking over, and staff. And then finally, to make it real for you here in Paramount, you're in the first of 5 designation areas. So you're going to be done first. You can see there where the lines are coming from to connect you, the red lines there. And it's going to be a little over 4.5 miles of fiber within the city of Paramount, 20,888 linear feet underground and 3,629 feet up on wires within your city. So there's going to be quite a bit of construction to make this happen. And we are going to be working with Public Works to collaborate in this way. But you can see there, the light blue is the first designated area. And so with that, happy to answer any questions that you might
Council, do you have any questions? Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Hector. Hey, how does this coincide, or does it have anything to do with Lena's bill? Remember the $6, she got $6 billion back in 2021, Senate Bill 4, I think, in AB 20.
Yeah, I'm bad at numbers. Even when I had bills, I forgot the numbers. But yes, exactly. It was. This is a direct result from that.
Okay, got it.
The $56 million in CDT funding came from that.
Got it. Okay.
The 46 came from something different, some federal money that is already in California.
All right.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I have one question. Is the school district aware of the project and of the time frame that you've just shared with us?
We haven't talked to the school district because it's up to the city to decide what you want to do with it once it's here. It's coming here. It's going to be connecting this building. So once it's here,
Well,
then
because they need to be made aware in case
Sure.
they want to pay for a connection to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So once we have the workshop in late March, early April, and understand what our options are, if you will, and hear from the experts, we'll definitely share that at the ad hoc committee, and then also in my monthly meetings with the superintendent for sure.
yep. Yeah,
Any other
that's,
questions, council? Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Now we move on to item 10. This is the award of contract for City Hall parking lot project. City project number 9387. Mr. Moreno, may we have the report, please?
Absolutely, Madam Mayor. At the last council meeting, you may remember that the city council approved the contract to start the Civic Center Gardens remodel project. So today, we're asking for your approval on the City Hall parking lot expansion project. So this project will provide much-needed parking for City Hall, the Clearwater Building, and of course, the eventual museum, community room, and indoor food hall. Our Civic Center will soon be a hub of construction activity. So with that, I'll kick it over to our Public Works Director, Ms. Adriana Figueroa, who will handle the item and give you more details. Adriana.
Thank you, John. Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, by way of background, the City Hall parking lot provides parking for city staff and visitors conducting civic business, and the lot is also jointly shared with other businesses in the area. This is a prime location for those visiting the downtown area, and it serves as a convenient visitor parking for city events such as the Heritage Festival and tree lighting ceremony. This parking lot expansion will alleviate anticipated increase in parking demand given future developments in town. This image is an aerial view of the Civic Center area with the City Hall to the left or the west, Civic Center fountain to the southwest, and the Clearwater building to the north. This parking lot expansion project will include the area highlighted in yellow. Reconfiguring this area will also require modifications to the irrigation system, lighting installation, adjustments to the electrical system, lane restriping, and landscaping. The plans on the right show the additional parking spaces that will be created, which total 34. A request for proposals for this project was released on December 19th, with bids due on February 4th. 11 bids were received. During the bid analysis and proposal review process, staff identified minor irregularities, including a calculation error with the bid amount. Taking into consideration the corrected math calculation, the apparent low, responsive, and responsible bidder was deemed to be ARC Construction, Inc., in the amount of $930,873.16. The total project cost, including the 10% contingency, comes to a little over $1 million. There is no fiscal impact as the bid came within budget, and funding for this project was included in the fiscal year 25 CIP utilizing capital project funds. And with that, staff recommends approval for this item. That concludes my report, and I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions from council?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Adriana, how long do you anticipate for the project to take to complete?
Once they order materials and we issue the notice to proceed, the contractor will have about 3 months to finish it.
Thank you.
Assuming there are no
Yes.
hiccups.
Yes. Back orders.
Yes.
Thank you.
Other comments, council?
Move to approve.
Okay, motion.
Second.
All right, Ms. City Clerk, when we have roll call, please.
Councilmember Aguayo?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Councilmember Quer Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lemons?
Yes.
Mayor Delgadillo?
Yes. Item 11 is consideration of an agreement with the Studio 111 for construction and design plans for the Century Greenway project. Mr. Moreno, may we have the report, please?
Absolutely, Madam Mayor. There's a wide grassy median and walking trail in the north end of town near Roosevelt School. And last year we shared with you a conceptual rendering of an upgrade to this area that would include interactive features more common at a park. And you may recall some time ago before that, we had the conceptual images drawn up. We asked residents if they wanted us to convert it to parking for the neighborhood. And they said, no, please don't. They heavily utilize it for recreation. We're now ready to take the next step with your approval of a contract, construction, and design plans. So with that, I'll turn it over to our Parks and Rec Director, Ms. Yesenia Guillen, to give you a ton more details. Ms. Guillen.
Thank you, John. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. As John mentioned this evening, staff is presenting a recommendation for approval for their agreement with Studio 111 for construction and design plans for the Century Greenway project. Can you turn, Danny? It's not working. Next. Okay. On the screen now, you can see an aerial view of the existing median located by Roosevelt Elementary School on Century Boulevard between Merkle and Weimar Avenue. Before we discuss the proposed improvements, I would like to touch on a concern for traffic safety that has been raised regarding the surrounding area of our proposed project. One of the primary concerns involves the potential for vehicles to speed on the street surrounding the project area. Studio 111 has been working closely with the city engineer and together are exploring potential solutions to ensure that safety of everyone in the area is taken care of. One of the proposed solutions is to introduce more crosswalks at every block along Century Boulevard surrounding the median with stop signs to help regulate traffic flow and reduce speeding. Another solution under consideration is the extension of the curbs on Merkle Avenue, creating what is known as a bulb out. This design significantly improves pedestrian crossing by reducing the distance between the pedestrians need to cross and enhancing the visibility between pedestrians and the vehicles. This is similar to what you currently see in downtown, Paramount and Jackson. So this is something obviously the Studio 111 also worked on. So it's also a consideration that we're doing in this area. As we move into the next phase of this project, please know that the full service agreement of these potential solutions will be looked at and studied with our staff and carefully determine what the best course of action for this area will be. As a background, the Greenway medium on Century Boulevard measures about 750 feet long, up to 75 feet wide, and offers 0.84 acres of potential community use. It's a larger size than your typical street medians, presents an opportunity to promote healthy, active lifestyles in this community. As John mentioned, there was a community meeting at Roosevelt Elementary School where 41 residents opposed a proposed parking concept that aimed to add spaces on Century Boulevard median. They value the median as a recreation open space. Due to the community's support for preserving open green space, staff proposed recreational concept for a greenway median. In July 2024, the city awarded Studio 111 an agreement to create a design for a Century Greenway project with $45,000 in grant funding allocated for developing the concept plans. On the next couple of slides, we'll provide you an overview of the concept designs that Studio 111 has created after meeting with Community Service and Public Works staff. Staff also visited Lucinda Garcia Park in the city of Monrovia. The pictures are actually on the right of your screen, and we actually were able to share these insights with Studio 111. We had a chance to visit a few years ago, and it's a great opportunity for the community, and it was great to see that. So we're hoping to bring it here. On the screen, we have an overview of the concept diagram titled The Hub. Staff desired that the concept plan included a design that would turn into a mini park, complete with additional landscaping, exercise equipment stations, lighting, a small playground, picnic benches, and a walking trail with distance markers. As previously mentioned, new stop signs will be potentially added, with one specifically placed for eastbound traffic on Century Boulevard. This area is highlighted in red on the screen. Currently, there's one stop sign for northbound traffic. Here you see the Century Greenway project concept design transforms the Greenway medium into a vibrant community hub where play and other activities take center stage, really fostering the connections and engagement among the families. The design places a strong emphasis on providing spaces for families to gather and enjoy. Central to this main plaza, equipped with picnic benches, a slated shade shelter, and offering a comfortable spot for residents to relax and socialize. The different spaces, like a fitness equipment hub, children's play area, a sensory garden, will connect by a circular walking path, which will encourage residents to explore the entire space. Recognizing the importance of our furry friends, we incorporated a dog run area, ensuring that pets have a dedicated space for exercise and play.
I like that.
Drawing inspiration from Lucinda Garcia Park in Monrovia, we incorporated a gated playground designated specifically for children ages 2 to 5 and 5 to 12. The playground equipment will include popular elements from other parks that we recently had built to encourage an engaged and enjoyable experience for our residents. The playground will also feature a shade shelter, providing much needed relief during the hot summer months. Staff has reviewed Studio 111's design for the Greenway median and found it to be very visually appealing. The concept offers a unique recreational space, promoting community wellness and active lifestyle, landscaping, paving, shade shelters, a playground, a fitness hub, vibrant colors, and really just a great walking path, as you can see in the aerial view. With the approval of the design concept, the city will enter into an agreement with Studio 111 this evening to proceed with the construction designs. Studio 111 has provided the city with a proposal in the amount of $161,800 to continue to work on the Century Greenway project and provide construction drawings, deliverables for permitting and bidding process. Staff recommends an additional 10% for contingency, bringing the total to $178,600. The city has $266,500 available in TAP funds for open space recreational projects. RBOSD reviewed Century Greenway project and confirmed that construction design services all eligible under these grant guidelines, approving the use of these funds to continue for this project. The city must secure a consultant agreement for these services by March 31st, 2025 to maintain eligibility for the remaining grant funds. There is no fiscal impact to the general fund with the approval of this construction design services project. The funding is fully provided by the TAP grant and already approved by our RPOSD. It is important to note that the Century Greenway project is currently in design phase. At this time, there's no funds allocated for actual construction of the project. The development of the concept design is a crucial step as we assist the city in effectively moving forward with construction funds when they do become available. So therefore, it is recommended that the City Council, 1, approve the design concept plan provided by Studio 111 for the Century Greenway project, and 2, approve an agreement with Studio 111 in the amount of $161,800, an additional $16,180 for construction design services for Century Green project, and authorize the mayor or her designee to execute the agreement. This concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. But we also have Kirk Kelly in the audience, the principal at Studio 111, that we're very familiar with, and I'm sure he's happy to answer any questions that I might not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council, any questions?
I do. I have a couple
Oh, go
questions.
ahead.
I think it's a great concept. I love it. First question for you, Yessie, or for you, is there, when we built our playgrounds, there was also talk about ADA wheelchair friendly.
Yes.
So that's already
We will
included on
continue
there.
that, yes.
Okay. And then can we just talk about the public safety? Because those streets, again, we've had many concerns from residents and that just how fast cars are going down. So I appreciate the fence around the playground, but are we looking to add anything when it comes to, I think I heard you mention stop signs.
Correct.
Any type of public safety to slow traffic down? I mean, I'm not asking for
I
bumps.
actually called on that same issue
Did you?
earlier today,
Okay.
and I thought it was going to be part of the presentation.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, she did mention that we are adding stop signs,
I
if you can
heard
go
that.
back.
Okay.
Yeah, but
On-
that's not going to stop what we were discussing earlier. My greater concern, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on yours, but I was like, first, did you finish your question?
No,
Because
I think we're on the
what-
same page.
The concern was that was the area where we had to have public safety go out because they were racing so much around the schools. And so my concern, a stop sign is not going to stop somebody from going over the median. And so what I had asked about was, are we going to put like bollards or something around it, because I don't see
Decorative balls.
stop signs stopping somebody from driving right through the park. And because it's already been designated as a problem area, that's why I thought there was going to be some mention of something like bollards or something more modern, if there is something. But I think it's not a typical park.
Right.
It's a median.
Yeah, so,
And so
right,
that's
so-
my concern.
Right, and we hear you. That was one of the stop signs were just one of many things.
Right.
In her comments, she mentioned that we will be working with the city engineer and the architect to design other features that could be included in here. So we heard it, and we're in the most appropriate phase right now of the project to add that. Kirk, would you mind coming up and bollards? You heard that, and I mentioned that to
There's
Yesenia.
something newer out there. I mean, we don't want to take away from the aesthetics, but it is a median. It's not a setback park.
Yes, absolutely. Madam Mayor and members of council, thank you. Yes, we're looking at kind of a multiple approach. As mentioned, the stop signs will be at some key intersections. We're adding more crosswalks. And at each proposed crosswalk, we're also looking at a bulb out. So the bulb out will actually squeeze the street down. So that in turn will slow traffic down because there's less room to drive. It'll also protect any parallel parked cars. So very similar to Paramount Boulevard, just outside here. You go around the corner, the actual curb pushes out to protect the oncoming traffic. So it slows people down at the intersections, and it would happen at every place we cross the street across Century. And we're also looking at things we could add bollards. Those bollards could also be part of illuminating the trail. We could look at incorporating boulders and different things. So we'll make it all look like it's all aesthetically there and was all incorporated into the design.
So, can I ask that? I think I'm going.
I'm sorry.
No, we're good. I think when you mean bollards, you're talking about those very big balls, like in Beverly Hills, they have it on their walkways.
They could be as small as 6 inches.
Okay.
They don't need to be. They don't need to be
drive
like the
those
Target
Right,
balls.
that's what I'm, like at Target, you know, they have
Yeah.
big red balls on their walkways that
is
people
that what
can't
you're
drive
talking
through.
about?
Yeah, or they have tall
Yeah,
round ones.
that's what you're talking about, right? The
Yeah.
ball, is that what you're saying?
No bollards. They would just be smaller stainless
no.
steel or metal, powder coated metal that would just basically be a little bit smaller. We could have something larger in statue. We would probably study that in 3D. But it could be boulders. It could be bollards of
Yeah, but when you say bollards, that covers a whole variety. You're saying that you're thinking to do the smaller, thinner ones.
The smaller,
But they
thin.
also can be big round ones, or they can
They
be
could
like
be.
the balls she's
They
talking
could
about in
be.
front of the Target stores. Those are all considered
Exactly.
bollards.
Those are all considered bollards. And we talk about kind of the nose or the skinny portion of the median, where we have a little bit less width there. That's probably where we would think about thinning out. The bollards should be something smaller, and then we can certainly make something wider
Right.
where there's more space.
Yeah, I just don't want somebody speeding around, losing control,
Yeah,
and being able to drive through that park and mow
Exactly.
people down.
For sure. The playground in the wider section, which is about 75 feet wide, will be
Back up
fenced.
while he's talking about the sketch so we understand.
I think go to the
Ac-
blue one, right? The one that has.
Keep going. There's another one
That
right
one.
there.
There we go.
you go.
So kind of the crescent-shaped playground is completely surrounded by fencing. So that south side on the rendering there is fully fenced. The north side is as well, and then we're providing some trees along the north side, flowering trees. On the north side, there could be some bollards and other things added to keep people from coming into that, let's say, 18-foot zone. And then if you worked your way to the right of the screen, it does narrow down. We have some seat walls that we're incorporating. There will be some grade changes. There's some existing trees with very, very large root balls. So we wanted to make sure that we can incorporate the walking paths to be ADA compliant. So there may be some areas where we're actually pushing the grades back to hold the trees in place. Those can also act as a barrier because there'll be cement walls. And then as you walk further down the median where it kind of noses down, the dog area will be fenced as well. So we'll have multiple ways of having visual barriers as well as physical barriers.
Well, it's absolutely beautiful. We just want it ultimately safe.
Absolutely.
And Vice
Priority.
Mayor and council members, we'll continue to work with Studio 111 and our city engineer to make sure that those concerns are visibly, and we bring that to the conceptual design. So we'll continue to.
And let me just ask one more question, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Is there something like this that exists somewhere else where they've done a median in the middle of an area and turned it into a park?
Yeah, in the city of
In
Monrovia. Yeah, there. I could
is
I could share with you like an aerial if you'd like of that of the park. It's pretty new though. The pictures that we have on this slide presentation,
Right there.
they don't really show Yeah, these two don't really show you the scope of the project, but it's
These are the ones that are Monrovia.
yeah, it's very. You can see the houses on the on the left.
Yes, I can
So
see
that's
that.
one street, and then the green to the right. That's the curb on the right side. I live about 3 blocks away from this. That's kind of how I know it.
Take that picture?
Is this one of the ones I took, or that you took? Oh yeah, I might have. So anyway, so yeah, that's kind of this. So it is almost the size that we have, and they've used this, and it's heavily used. It's because it's a neighborhood park, just like what we're proposing here. So.
John, I would mention too, in comparison, we did what we call a figure ground study. So we took the Monrovia Park and then we overlaid it with the Century Greenway area. And in the Monrovia spot, it's actually larger. So the main portion that these photographs cover is about the size of what we have. And then they have an additional section that keeps going with some gardens and things. So if you do go out there or go on Google, it's a lot larger. It's about a third larger. And then one other kind of easement median that's left over nearby would be in Seal Beach on Electric Avenue, where there's an old easement for the trolley as well. So it's the same trolley line that would go up to Monrovia, and it's here in Seal Beach. So they have a long linear green space in their city too.
I have a question, Madam Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
What's the size of the dog run?
The dog run is, I think it's 70 feet long and 15 feet wide. Enough for dogs to just, off leash, get a good run.
And would it be located on the north, south, east, west?
It's in the it's on the east side, and it's in the nose, the thinner portion.
Little nose.
Number 11 there. So just past where it says Century Boulevard on the screen.
Oh, I see it. Okay. I didn't
On
see
the-
it last time. My apologies.
Where the
No
red
problem.
circle is? That's it.
Thank you.
Dog run with.
No, the red
No.
circle.
Danny, can you highlight 11?
Right.
Oh, I can't see it.
No, not the red circle.
11,
Just
number
to the-
11, Danny.
Number 11.
To the right.
Keep going to the right.
There it
there
is.
you go.
Go. And that has a fence as well. It says dog run
That's
with
fenced
fence.
as well,
Okay.
yes. Yes.
So it would be heading towards Downey Avenue.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sure, thank you.
That is.
I like.
It's really cool.
Yeah, can you go build a median in my neighborhood so we can turn it into a park?
Sure.
Well, that's cute. Council, do we have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Councilmember Quer Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lemons?
Yes.
Mayor Delgadillo?
Definitely yes. Item 12 is consideration resolution number 25.004, approving the mid-year budget adjustments. Mr. Moreno, may we have the report, please?
Absolutely, Madam Mayor. This is something that we do each year. We open back up the spending plan that you adopted back in June of last year, just to see how we're doing and make any necessary adjustments. This is called the mid-year budget review. Our finance team over the last few weeks has been working with the departments to sharpen the numbers for this current fiscal year that would carry us through to the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th, 2025. The good news is, even with all the construction projects that you're awarding these last few meetings and at the next couple meetings, and with costs being higher on those projects than anticipated higher, we're still predicting to post a surplus for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. So with that, I will turn it over to our finance director, Ms. Kim Sao, who will handle the item. Kim.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. Like John said, during this time, we perform a mid-year review of our revenues, expenditures, to see how they compare to our adopted budget. If we need to, we will adjust revenues and add more budget or realign our budget to make more room for other projects. Before we request for any more budget, we normally would look at our revenues first to make sure that we do have enough money to pay for more expenditures. This chart shows our 12-year revenue trend for the general funds. As you know, starting in fiscal year 21, we got the infusion of Measure Y, which is shown in that yellow section. That's the new Measure Y that was adopted in March of 2020. So since then, our revenues have gone higher. But if you look at the last 3 years, fiscal year 23, 24, and current year, fiscal year 25, the revenues have remained really flat. So we don't project any large increases, so they're about the same as last year. This is diving into a little bit more of the revenues for general fund. For general fund, we started the year with an estimate of $45,975,000. So during this time, when we reviewed our revenues, we have a few line items that we estimated to decrease or increase. In the sales and use tax, we're estimating a decrease of about $500,000, and this is due to one of our businesses or where the project is being delayed. And also in the business license tax, we expect an increase of about $150,000, and that's due to the recently business license tax restructuring that was approved in November of 24. And for motor vehicle license fee, we're expecting an increase of $381,000. So as you can see, the overall increase is a net of about $38,000. And so the overall increase is kind of not too much, so we're not making adjustments to the line item estimate. We will keep the estimate as is, and we will monitor the revenues coming in. And the reason sometimes we don't adjust the revenue, we don't want to adjust it just to make it match. We do retain the original estimate so that when the actual comes, we will see a variance and we will be able to tell why it was that way. In the special revenue funds, we will make adjustment to these specific grant items. In the first one, the STAR, this is the last fiscal year we will be administering the STAR program. It will be shifted to the school district. So we have a remaining fund balance of about $710,000, and so we're allocating the rest of it and try to spend as much as possible throughout this for the remaining of the fiscal year. For the Highway Safety Improvement Program, we are adding $46,000, and these are just allocating funds that we have already received in the fund balance, so we're just allocating and appropriating it for use. We're adding $70,000 for the Kaiser Permanente grant for the Housing Navigator Service. And the next line item, we are removing $1.1 million in the Rivers Mountains Conservancy grant. This fund has lapsed, and we are removing it. This is for the project CIP 9237 for the Wausau project phase 4. And then next line item, we are adding $29,000 in Southern California Edison. This was previously taken to the city council already. We just are correcting the revenue and adding it to our book. We're also allocating $55,000 from the CBA fund. This is a carryover from the fiscal year fund balance, fiscal year 24 fund balance. I wanted to give an overview of the general fund operating budget. We start out the year with the adopted budget of, in revenues, we estimated $45,975,000, and the City Council adopted a budget of $45,432,000. So those two leaves us a surplus of $1.3 million. Throughout the year, we track this surplus, and as the departments need more money, if they come to the City Council with additional requests, we basically draw down on that surplus. But in any case, we will not draw down more than the $1.3 million. We will only try to draw down up to that much and still leave some surplus left. And that way, at the end of the year, we will have a surplus left that will go into our fund balance and increase our fund balance at the end of the year. So this this is a good practice so that we don't spend more than we have and dip into our fund balance reserve. So the mid-year, after the mid-year request that we will go over, we expect to have a surplus of $293,000. And in the next several slides, I'll go over the mid-year request to see how we came down to that surplus amount. So this is an overview of the operating budget for all the funds. So on the left column, it starts out with the adopted budget for each of the funds. And the next column where it says appropriated between July 1 and February 11th, those are the amounts that the city departments have brought to the city council for additional requests, and the city council has approved those amounts. So from July through February 11th, you have approved up to $1.2 million of additional appropriation. So the next column for the mid-year budget, we are adding another $1.5 million. So each of those additional total, I will go over in detail in the next few slides. For the general fund, we're adding a total of $441,000 to the budget. Starting at the top in the city manager's office, we're adding $21,600, and that is made up of $6,600 of subscription to music video and $50,000 for shopping under the lights event. Under the administration, we're adding $85,000 more, $43,000 for the firehouse escrow, $7,600 for the increase in crime insurance, $10,000 more for the .gov email transition, and $25,000 more for firewall upgrade, for a total of $85,600. In the Public Works Department, we're adding $275,000. At the top, we're adding $75,000 for additional emergency repairs, $45,000 for additional facility repairs, $80,000 for additional tree trimming and crown reduction, $40,000 for rental of additional safety barriers for special events, and $10,000 for banner hardware replacement. And this amount is being reimbursed by the Paramount Unified School District. We're adding $25,000 for engineering services due to more CIP management, for a total of $275,000. And we also did some realignments in our ARPA reserves. And in the ARPA reserve, we shift expenditures around between CIP and operating expenditures. And after doing so, the operating expenditures increased by $58,870, and that's using the reserves, not the operating revenues. So the total budget increase to the general fund is $441,070. For the special revenue funds, we're adding a total of $849,200. Starting at the top, this item was taken to the City Council before, and we're just adding the revenue adjustment at this time for a total of $70,000 under the Kaiser grant for the Housing Navigator service. The next line item, $710,000, is for the, which is allocating the remaining fund balance under the STAR program so that we can use the rest of it for the remaining of the fiscal year. $68,250, we're just doing a correction on salaries and benefits to account for the full-time maintenance worker position. So the total for special revenues is $849,200. For the water fund, we're adding $228,350,000 more to the budget. at the top, we purchased 8 computer monitors for customer service counter and our part-time staff for a total cost of $4,100. And these monitors are really needed, as it allows us to work more efficiently when staff has 2 monitors that they are able to switch back and forth. We also add $124,250 for the increase in bank fees. These are the fees that we pay for the web payment online web payment. So the more transaction there is, the more fees there is. But the fees has increased over the last 2 years. We're adding $100,000 to fix the meter leaks. This came up during the AMI installation. So total-wise, $228,350 is added to the water fund budget. This table shows an overview of all the CIP adjustments for all the funds. And in the next 2 slides, I will go over the details of what make up each of those totals. This is the Capital Projects Fund 112. We're adding a total of a net total of $250,390, and is made up of increases and decreases. The Fund 112 is called the Capital Projects Fund. It's basically paid for by the general fund, and we separated this fund so that we can account for CIP separately outside of the operating budget. So at the top, we're adding $40,000 to the Dills Park Community Orchard project, $12,000 for the Dills Park restrooms and renovation, $230,000 for the Civic Center fountain upgrade, $111,000 for the Progress Plaza exterior improvement, $70,000 for the City Hall parking lot, $14,000 for the Hunsaker traffic safety improvements. And whenever there is a negative, it's either we're moving the fund, we're removing the funding for this cost, for this project. So we're moving this to the Fund 233. So this saves the capital project fund of $200,000. As we said before, we always try to use grant fund first before we use the capital project fund, which is a general fund. We're adding $100,000 to the irrigation valve upgrades. So all the projects that are being funded under general fund either is not eligible under grant funds, or there isn't enough grant funds to pay for it. So we're using general fund at this time, either because we needed to get it done this year, and we cannot wait till next year. So for All American Replacement Picnic Shelter, we're realigning it to a separate fund. So we're reducing it from this fund. Paramount Park Center expansion design, we're adding $100,000. The substation roof replacement, another $20,000. And the Paramount Saw meeting room is, we're reducing it by $152,000 because we're using the ARPA reserves to pay for it. For the Dills Park irrigation repairs, $20,000 more. So between the increases and decreases is a net total of $250,390. So this is various increases and decreases. So the first column right there, special revenue funds, we are moving this EV charging stations, moving it to Grant 296. Let me see. And for the EV stations, Edison Charge Ready, we're moving it to Fund 225. For the median enhancement, we're adding $462,500. And again, for this grant, we're reducing this project, basically defunding it by $1.1 million because the grant has lapsed. Under the water fund, the second column to the right, we're adding $83,000 for increase to the Well 16 project. And the last update I got was that we're expecting Well 16 to operate by the end of April. And we have provided this update to iBank, and so they're very happy to hear that we're reaching toward the end of this journey. We're adding $29,000 for the City Hall furniture replacement. Okay, so what I've just done is going over all the mid-year requests, which we're asking you to approve at the end of tonight's or at the end of this agenda presentation, and it is important for us to make this mid-year adjustments so that we can have a refresh number to start out the new year budget development, which is starting next month. So the next two slides I will conclude, but I just wanted to go over this general fund balance overview again. When we finished the audit of the June 30, 2024 fiscal year, we ended the year with a total fund balance of $50,504. And I wanted to break down into the various classification of what this $50,000 represents. So in the first line item, this is called the non-spendable fund balance. So, for example, just to compare it to our own personal asset, for example, you have a house that is worth $500,000. So we would call that house a non-spendable asset because you can't spend a house. You have to sell the house before you get to spend it. So in our fund balance, we have a non-spendable amount of $302,000, and that is mostly made up of land held for resale. And the next line item is restricted for debt service. When we pay debt service, we do allocate the costs to the various departments, and this is just the remaining balance in that fund. So the next two line items is very important. The committed line item, we have a rainy day fund of $23,932,000. And this is what is the result of the City Council approving the fund balance policy that you asked us to reserve 60% of our operating expenditures for emergencies, for economic uncertainties, for anything that we need, in the future should there be issues with our finance. And this amount can only be spent by the City Council's approval. So we can never touch this. John can never touch this. And as you know, the GFOA recommends that we keep a minimum of 16.7% of our fund balance in the reserves. And what this 16% represents is 2 months out of a full fiscal year. So if there's 12 months, we can go 2 months without problems. But in Paramount, we maintain 60%. This represents about 7 months of the full fiscal year. So if something happens, we can kind of float on the cloud for 7 months before we go into bankruptcy. So we're just like spending the money without money coming in. But we'll never go into that situation. And for the next line item, 23,827,000 represents the assigned fund balance. This fund balance is the amount that John has his discretion to move around. And we reserve it for various CIPs, pension, insurance, compensated absences, and any other projects that we deem necessary to reserve for. And lastly, we have an unassigned amount of $2,430,000, and this is available to stabilize our budget. Should we not have enough revenue to cover the expenditures, we'll dip into this amount. So lastly, this is my last slide. It's just a big picture of the whole fund balance summary. After we completed the audit, we begin the fiscal year with the beginning fund balance, and that column shows the beginning fund balance for each of those accounts. So in the general fund, we have a total of $50 million. And throughout the year, with all the net changes in spending and adding and subtracting, we have net changes to the fund balance. And we estimate that at the end of the fiscal year, the general fund will end with $35 million. And again, that is assuming the capital, the CIPs will all be spent and finished in 1 year. But usually it doesn't get spent by the end of the fiscal year. So likely the fund balance will be around like $50 million again. And that concludes my presentation for the mid-year budget. And we recommend that the City Council read by title only and approve Resolution 25004. Thank you.
Do we have any comments from council?
I have a question.
Yes.
John, it says that meter leaks repairs of $100,000. I thought we were replacing and getting new meters. Why is this occurring?
Very good question. I will turn that over to our Public Works Director, Ms. Adriana Figueroa, who will explain that.
Thank you, John. When we started the project for the AMI replacements, whenever you encounter, when you do a change out of this magnitude, we've encountered some meters that would break the minute you touch them. And so I think it's like anything when you do any type of construction at home and you open it up, the plumbing might be a bit older than you anticipated, and so we've had to do some meter leak repairs. Right. The old meters. The old.
Yes,
Sorry.
that's what
Not
I
the new
thought.
ones. No, the old ones. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Adriana. That's what I thought, but I wanted just clarification. Thank you.
Any other questions from council?
I'll move resolution number
Okay.
25004.
Second.
Okay.
Third, fourth.
Madam City Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Councilmember Quer-Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lemons? Mayor Delgadillo?
Yes. And now we move on to item 13 is consideration of an amendment to the city manager's employment agreement. Mr. City Attorney, may we have a report, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Following the city manager's recent performance evaluation, the City Council agreed to 2 changes to Mr. Moreno's employment agreement. The Brown Act requires an oral report on a recommendation to amend the compensation of a local agency executive, in this case, the city manager. The 2 proposed changes to Mr. Moreno's contract, if approved tonight, are an elimination of Mr. Moreno's auto allowance and deferred compensation, and adding equivalent amounts to his salary so that there is functionally no change in the pay. And then the addition of an annual cost of living adjustment equal to the consumer price index, but not to exceed 5% in any given year. And the first COLA would take effect on July 1st, 2025. That is my report, and I am available for any questions.
Council, are there any comments? All right, is there a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Ms. City Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Councilmember Quer-Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lemons?
Yes.
Mayor Delgadillo?
Yes. We have no items under environmental sustainability this evening. We move on to comments and committee reports. Now is the time for comment and committee reports. We'll start with Vice Mayor Lemons.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I attended my monthly SIACA meeting. I should just say that things are moving along with the union negotiations there, which is a positive thing. Attended JPA meeting with the cities of Bellflower and Lakewood. And again, we're making headway on ways that we can join together to improve quality of life issues between our three cities. Also had a wonderful opportunity to go to the life celebration for Dee Stevens, who's well known in the community, especially within the school district areas. She had a beautiful turnout for her services, and a woman you can certainly look at and say a life well led. That's all I have. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Olmos.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a couple of things. Was it last Saturday, Madam Mayor, we attended? It was last Saturday, right? We attended the Cal Cities event? Maybe two
Yes.
Saturdays ago.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe 2 Saturdays ago. Well, Cal Cities was here. They actually did an event with our new assembly member, Solache. And Madam Mayor and I attended. Actually, Solache came out and talked about his legislative platform for the coming year. It kind of shared a little bit of his bills. He has one on education that he was talking about. And then he also mentioned, again, if there's any cities that are looking to help him with the bill, that, he's approachable, let's have a conversation. About 7 cities attended. Cal Cities, again, did do this event. So it was a good event. I think everybody had a lot to talk about. They talked about homelessness. A lot was talked about transportation, and how we can work together to make sure that when it comes to homelessness, we're just not sharing. They're moving from one city to another. Lakewood had a lot to talk about when it came to ADUs. A lot going on with their ADUs in their community. So that was a good conversation. I think everybody got to share their insights. I do want to share that we also had a Historical Society meeting last night. We actually had a special guest. His name was Fred Hill. He was actually a Paramount High School graduate from the class of 61, thanks to Councilmember Clara Stallings and Weisenberger, right, that helped us. He actually played for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Raiders. Again, class of 61. It was he actually a Trojan as well.
Oh, okay.
And
now
actually,
we're talking.
I think the most important thing of last night was actually him and his wife were poly-pirate valedictorian. They actually were the founders of the Ronald McDonald House. So again, all this came from the city of Paramount. He just came and just said that how he's just loving the way the city looks. He drove in last night. They had dinner at Gus's Deli last night. But so we actually had a gem in our community that was born and raised here. And he was just saying how he came back and that he just thinks that Paramount looks so great. So it was great to have that speech from him last night. It was. So that's all I have, Madam Mayor. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Good. Councilmember Aguayo, please.
I'm thinking, I actually don't think I have anything. Ad hoc, was that this week? My days are all. Okay, so we did have ad hoc with our school board. And one of the conversations that we've been having for a few months now is the banners, the student banners. And it looks like a decision has finally been made on that. I guess I'm going to call it like a happy medium for all of us. It's not exactly necessarily what they had envisioned at the beginning. But, after a lot of discussion and explanation why that really wasn't the ideal location of moving those banners to Paramount High School, we've kind of come to the agreement that they will go along Paramount Boulevard and our military banners will be the ones on Alondra Boulevard. So they're still in high traffic areas, so they are visible to our residents, our community, and they can be appreciated. So that was probably one of the main issues. But again, it's been a conversation we've been having for months now. That's all I have.
Hey, thank you so much. Councilmember Claire Stallings.
Well, I attended a couple of the comments that Brenda mentioned about the Paramount Historical Society. It was awesome to see Fred Hill there attend and be able to speak about his experiences through his life. And also, I was so proud of being a Paramount resident because he was very proud of being a Paramount resident. And I also attended Mrs. D. Stevens' Celebration of Life. This is one of my former principals that I worked with, and I had a very close relationship with her. It was very heartbreaking for me. I expected her to continue living, especially her retirement years, and I'm very sad because I had a luncheon meeting with her, and I wasn't able to make it because I had a city commitment, and now I really regret it, but I know she's in a better place, and I loved her dearly. And I also attended the LA County Library Commission meeting at Billwood Library in South Central LA. It's a beautiful library. They have a celebration every year at Black History Month, and they invite many, many legends that live in the community or live in another state. And last, Paramount High School was on the High Spotlight. Is that what you say, Brenda? And Channel 5 came to visit them last Friday. And my granddaughter's involved in sports and and a lot of other things. And she woke up early in the morning. I couldn't believe 4 o'clock in the morning. By 6 o'clock, she wanted to be there. And she didn't have to be there until 7. But a high five to the Paramount High School team, correct, Brenda? Council member. Yeah. And they won first place in the Nationals. So they were spotlighted for that and everything else that Paramount High School provides for the students. And I was proud too, because I'm also once a pirate, always a pirate. And one last thing I would like to suggest, Madam Mayor, if that's possible, is when we have the student mayors come up and take their picture, is it possible for them to come down the aisle and give us a handshake? I thought that would be...
We can do that next month, yes.
Yeah, I thought
Next
maybe
month
that would be
meeting.
nice. I'm just a suggestion. Anyway, Madam Mayor, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you so much. And I also attended with Council Member Almost the Cal Cities meeting with Assembly Member Jose Salachi, and I really learned a lot what's actually happening in other cities. And, you know, it's no different than ours. We all have the same problems that we're trying to fix. And I also, last Wednesday, had story time with the mayor, and I read the story to the children. It's Raining Hearts, and it was a cute story about rain that were hearts falling from the sky. So the children had their arts and craft was drawing hearts, and it was wonderful. So, you know, next story time with the mayor will be Wednesday, March the 19th, and the story will be The Littlest Leprechaun. So I'm looking forward to sharing my talents and reading to them. And see you all at the Paramount Library. Thank you. All right, Mr. Moreno, are there any comments from staff?
Yes, I just have a couple. First one is a show and tell. I've been informing you over the past couple months that we're looking at PEP's scholarships, the impact over the years. We sent surveys to former PEP recipients. We asked a few if they would share their story to find out where they are now. So what we're about to show you is a sneak peek. It's one interview of 3 that we've done. We plan to share it in a longer format video, but this is a sneak peek that would preview on, that we would show on social media. So that's why it's in this long, elongated format. So again, we will share this on social media and with Paramount Unified. And the goal is to have more people answer our survey so we can see PEP's impact in Paramount, and then to also motivate students to apply and also motivate people to donate. So with that, we'll roll the video.
Because of the PEP scholarship, I didn't have to worry about any financial stressors. Hello, my name is Brenda Garcia, and I received the PEP scholarship in the year of 2016. I attended the University of California in Irvine, and my major was Criminology, Law and Society, and Psychological Sciences. What drew me back to Paramount after graduation is my love for the community. I was born and raised here, and I actually work here at the district for the last 5 years. I'm here as a school counselor to give back. Luckily, because of the PEP scholarship, I was able to get a head start into my financial situation. So The PEP scholarship paid for my entire first quarter at UC Irvine. I was able to just work full time and save all that money that I got from my job in order to pay for the future quarters to come. My biggest advice I could give is to just apply. You don't worry about whether you'll be accepted or not. It's better to just apply and see if you can get it. It's better to receive help than not to receive any at all.
Any thoughts?
Nice. I
You
like
like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if
Promoting
you have
education.
any ideas or anything, feel free to bounce them off of us, and we'll continue
I
to
did
produce
a
those.
question.
Sure.
I was looking for PEP stuff because I was making some calls trying to locate PEP sponsors. The videos that were done previously to encourage kids to apply as well as sponsors, I couldn't find those online. Is there a link on our website? They're on YouTube. I just, I know that while we're developing these, it wouldn't hurt to have those there because they were originally for that purpose. And there's one made to encourage students and there's one made for sponsors. But when you're looking for PEP stuff and you're reading all about it, that's why we made the video. So I think we should put a link there.
Okay.
All right, and my second item, we have, I'm announcing something I mentioned to you before. We have our finance director, Ms. Kim Sao, is leaving us to take another job in another city. So tonight was her last presentation of the mid-year budget, her last presentation to you. So we just want to say thank you very much, Kim, for all that you did in the 3+ years that you've been with us. And we appreciate how you kept us afloat and going, and all of your new ideas for raising revenue. That has been outstanding. I can honestly speak on behalf of the council that they appreciated that too, providing balance budgets every year. So we definitely appreciate all your hard work, and we're gonna miss you. And we have some flowers and a certificate signed by our mayor. So good luck to you, Kim. And as the mayor says, would you like to say a few words?
Oh my gosh. This was kind of unexpected, but I know it was going to be my last presentation. I'm feeling a bit choked up.
That's all right.
I always thought that I would retire from here, but life has a way of changing. You just know what's going to happen tomorrow. And it's something that it's a family decision, and that prompted me to take another job is because we're moving. And I have to say that each city that I go to, it gets better and better. And that's why I always thought I was going to retire from here. And it's been such a pleasure to work with this administration. Everyone in our department has been so professional, and it says a lot of the leadership at the top. We could feel it all the way down, to all the level that we're working here, is because the city council and John has set a tone that set expectations, not just hardworking, but to enjoy working as well. And all the people that I've worked with in my department, I appreciate them very much. They're such hard worker, and we have fun, so much fun together, celebrating as well as working hard. I'm just gonna miss everyone. I could say that in all the cities that I've worked with, Paramount is my 5th city, so I will be moving to my 6th city. I've always kept in contact with all the previous co-workers that I worked with, and after I leave them, they become my friends. And I hope you all will continue to be my friends, and we will keep in contact with each other. I'll email you when I need help, and you can email me when you need something. And I love you all. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
That's it, Madam Mayor. That's it.
Okay, that's it. Now we're going to closed session. And Mr. Moreno, will you please announce the closed session item?
Absolutely. The City Council will be going to closed session right now for conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D1. One case, Shadowwood Development versus City of Paramount, case number 22 STCV 09407.
Okay, we're ready? Okay, John, are we ready? Okay. I now call the council meeting back to order in open session. Mr. Gorelli, may we please have the report from closed session?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The City Council met in closed session to discuss the one item on the posted agenda. All 5 council members were present, and there was no reportable action tonight. Thank you.
Okay, so there being no further business before the City Council, this meeting is adjourned to a meeting on March 11th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the council chamber here at City Hall. Have a good evening, everyone.